Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. Today we're going to share with you guys my updated build for red, yellow Beerus. I had hinted at this deck a few times in a few videos when I was talking about set 17 cards, so I'm excited to share it with you guys. It's not the most competitive deck by any means. I don't expect this to be topping any regionals anytime soon, but it is a very fun deck. Very cool thing you can now revisit with some of the set 17 cards. And yeah, I think it'll be very fun to take the locals, so I want to share with you guys. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And if you guys want to help support the channel, many ways down in the description you can do so as always. But today, guys, if you want to buy or pre-order anything we talk about in this video, feel free to use my link in the description to TCG Player. Really does help out a lot. Anyways, let's get into this, starting with the leader. So on the unawakened side, we have an activate main once per turn, discard a red or yellow card, and then draw 2 cards. Great thing about this leader is he is one of the few leaders that can actually hard +1 on turn 1 without having to attack. That's excellent. The awaken, untap 2 energy, very rare, also very good effect. Now we get to the awakened side. So unfortunately we don't really draw cards anymore. He's got 2 effects: activate main once per turn, pay a red and a yellow, and KO just about any battle card. And then we have another activate battle. Once per turn, you can use a red yellow multicolor card from your drop area in a combo. So very similar to Android 16, which has been pretty popular as of late, and this leader actually came up before Android 16, so he kind of set that trend. And again, we don't really draw on the awakened side, but we've got some effects in the deck that help mitigate that, namely Sand Instincts Goku and Bardock the Eliminator. Okay, so the 2 things with this card, with these cards. So turn 1, typically we're charging a red yellow energy. We are playing a traditional multicolor deck, so notice that on turn 1 we will be charging tapped energy. But on turn 2, Sand Instincts is a really great play. You could even have pitched a Bardock Eliminator turn 1 and one on turn 2, and then use them both on turn 2. Like, with these cards, they fit so well into the deck, not only as additional draw power for our unawakened or awakened side, but they also serve as excellent arrival fodder. Excellent cards in a deck like this. Man, remember the times where everyone had to play 4 copies of Sand Instincts? That was a really funny time. But yeah, this deck fits all 4 of these apes each very well. Then we have 4 copies of Beerus Super Combo coming out in set 17. This is the only multicolor super combo that actually ends up drawing you a card, which is kind of insane. This is the exact reason that I wanted to revisit this deck, and I'm going to tell you guys what I found out about it. Unfortunately, this is probably not the better super combo to play when compared to the typical Red Raditz super combo, because I noticed that 99% of the time I was arriving just off my leader skill, using my leader skill to combo red yellow from the drop area. That was mostly what I was using to arrival. I wasn't really using this card to arrive very much. So if you're not using this card's red yellow purpose to actually arrive battle cards, you're probably better off using the Raditz. I mean, I had to build the deck and play around with it to kind of come to that realization, but it kind of seems obvious once you talk about it and hear it out loud. But yeah, it's unfortunately not the better super combo, I don't think. But I mean, who knows, if things change up or even a different red yellow deck comes along that doesn't have a leader ability that does this super combo becomes excellent, because again, it's the only multicolor super combo that actually draws you a card. It's really good for that respect. This just might not be the best leader to use it in, because you already get that red yellow combo for free, if that makes sense. But still, kind of a cool core concept. You can make that change to Raditz if you totally want to. Then we have, next up, the Beerus Unceasing Rage. So this card's pretty cool. For 1 red, you can arrive it, choose 2 battle cards and rest, give it minus 10,000 power, and draw a card. One of the newer Beerus arrivals that came out a couple sets ago. And then has the added slight benefit of paying 3, giving the board minus 20k, and gaining triple strike. I really wish there was an activate battle, because, you know, paying 3 energy for this and getting negated feels pretty bad, but I mean, it's okay. The minus 10 on a couple battle cards helps combo very nicely with Beerus No Holds Barred. So if you guys didn't play back in the Red Yellow Surge Goku days, which this deck is very reminiscent of, this was probably, I want to say, the best red yellow card in that deck, besides Heartfelt Plea, which was only enabled by cards like this. But anyways, this card comes down for 2 energy with a rival red yellow. So when it's played, you can choose one of the effects, either KO something 30k or less, which again, other minus abilities help combo with this to help you kill bigger battle cards, even sometimes SCRs. Then we have the other effect being choose one of your opponent's battle cards or leader cards in rest mode ignoring barrier, and it can't switch back to active mode till the end of the next main phase. So incredible thing about this is that you can really punish your opponent for missequencing, or even just for playing a certain strategy. If your opponent attacks, they have a Soul Striker leader in rest mode, you play this guy and lock down their Soul Striker leader. Now their next turn, they're not untapping 2 energy. That is very powerful. There are a lot of different leaders you can really punish by playing a card like this, which is really cool. Again, not the most competitive deck in the world. Very fun though, and can definitely be deadly in the right hands. And the only reason I bring that up again is because you can feel that this card's a bit costly, right? Like the 2 energy in a red yellow deck, a non-blue deck, does feel a bit costly, but it's still very good when you can pull it off. Then we have the 1 heartfelt plea we're allowed to play. Of course, you're going to try to arrival Beerus unawakened, probably turn 4, sometimes turn 3, and then if you can awaken with a heartfelt plea in your hand, it's very, very good. 1 copy of Almighty Resistance. Okay, this thing is very unique to this deck because if your leader is red and you choose a yellow card in your hand and discard it, you negate the counter attack skill. So this is the only deck, or the only type of deck I should say, that can play a card somewhat similar to Bad Ring Laser. Negate any negate in the game. Can be very, very powerful going for game. Again, it's a bit costly, but in this deck, the way you're playing it is you're tapping out turn 1, tapping out turn 2, and there's a turn 3 play we'll see in a second. But generally after that, you're being kind of conservative with the energy. You're either going to maybe like pay some to draw some cards off of these apes if you're awakened, or you're just going to hold your energy up for arrivals. So, you know, if you get turn 5, turn 6, you create a nice board for yourself with arrival. Using Almighty Resistance to stop your opponent's floodgate or stop whatever counterattack they're using will let you go for game. Then we have 4 copies of Jiren Legend of Universe 7. So I figured the curve of this deck would be pretty nice. If you turn 1, charge a multicolor, turn 2, use Sand Instincts or multiple Bardock the Eliminators, and then turn 3, go into Jiren Legend of U11. He's just an absolute beast of a card. Him being able to -10 a card upon play will also combo very nicely with Beerus. Those 2 cards in tandem, if you're able to arrive Beerus, will allow you to kill most secret rares in the game, which is pretty cool. But yeah, another card I was thinking about is the new Baby Unison coming out in set 17. That seems like a very viable card for this deck. I was a little bit hesitant on it because it is a 10k Unison during your opponent's turn, but if your opponent is playing a strategy where they play a lot of battle cards to the board and you can absorb a lot of those battle cards, you're able to give your Unison a lot of protection, and he draws you cards, which is a real nice thing for this deck because, again, on the Awakened side of our leader, we don't draw cards anymore. So I think you can kind of pick your poison there. Baby or Jiren both seem good for their own respective rights. Jiren helps you put on a bit more pressure. The -3 helps interrupt a lot of things, but the Baby upkeeps your draw and acts as additional removal, so that seems really good. Then we have 4 copies of Videl. Of course, if you're playing a 3-cost Unison, you're going to play Videl. It's just better than Yamcha at that point. 3 testing the opposition. We are able to pretty much be whatever life we want thanks to Whis Godly Fundamentals. This card is really good in this deck. If your leader is a red Beerus card, you can send this card from your drop area to your warp, give something on the board -5k, and then take up to 1 life. So you can put yourself to 5 for testing the op. You can get yourself to 4 if you want to awaken. This card's absolutely incredible, picking off 1-drops or minusing things to be killed later by Beerus No Holds Barred or Unceasing Rage. 2 copies of Chomp of the Trickster, a real big blast from the past. So you can definitely feel the energy costliness of this card, just like Beerus Null Holds Barred, but this guy has the unique benefit of being able to Crusher Ball barrier cards, which is something that a card like Steadfast Goku can't do. So again, if you're playing passively, your opponent's playing a big boss monster, you get to use Chomp of the Trickster, generate a 15k body, draw a card, and rest that threat, which can be very good. 1 copy of King Piccolo New Ruler, of course the 1 copy we're allowed to play. 2 copies of Vegeta Resolve Renewed, one of the newest, like, just, you know, best red staples you can possibly be playing. Stop things like Repose, stop things like Oceanus Negate. 2 copies of Kaioken Goku Concentrated Destruction. I've actually found myself a few times casting him for 3 and clearing the board of anything 20k or less. Again, if your opponent's playing like a Swarm deck, this can be really nice to get you back into the game, clearing several of their battle cards. Not too bad against GT, especially because they play a ton of battle cards with 20k or less power, which is good. Even the U7 Goku matchup, same thing. Kill their Friezas, kill their Android 17s, kill their Goku counterplays. And then, of course, you have the 2 energy effect if you need to minus something, ignoring barrier. Very, very helpful generic red card. 1 copy of Supreme Kai of Time SCR. You can go a few routes with SCRs in this deck, of course. I chose not to go with Pan because we're not always playing a ton of battle cards to the board. We're more so sticking 1 big battle card to the board at a time, I noticed. And Kai just seems very, very good going into next meta. There are a lot of decks that seem to just be reliant on Unisons. So far the Kai has been very, very good. I would love to play a free SCR. I gotta read the Piccolo Gohan SCR again. I know it hasn't been officially revealed, but we have seen some leaks for it. I'm not sure what the exact requirements were if your leader has to be yellow or Namekian, so that wouldn't work with this leader if it was, but I wonder if it has to do with yellow energy. I forget. That could be a cool card for this deck, just me thinking off the top of my head. But otherwise, maybe Pan if your opponent's playing an aggro deck, or there are a lot of aggro decks in the meta. And then, of course, Kai is just always good to get a board wipe. Then we have 2 copies of Pan Trunks Goku from the new GT deck. So another set 17 card. We're playing Jiren Unison. This can go under any unison with 10,000 power or more, and then at any point after that, it can be played as a 3-cost game-ending threat. The Spirit Boost 3 is not super unrealistic. I just talked about that in yesterday's video, where most 3-cost unisons, actually a lot of red unisons in general, actually can support this guy's Spirit Boost 3, because red has great cards to defend unisons. Not only are the unisons themselves tanky, but you have cards like Testing the Opposition, and in some other decks, some other negates to help serve that same purpose. 4 copies of Least Spectator. Just want to be able to charge check lands. I was trying the warp lands. If you guys don't know what those are, there are cards in the game that say when you charge this card, it's a red yellow card, warp a red and a yellow card from your drop area, and then you can charge this card ignoring energy exhaust. I wanted to try a build where I was able to charge untapped energy turn 1 for Bardock the Eliminator, and then use Bardock the Eliminator, and then turn 2 or turn 3 later on, I was hopefully going to be able to charge one of those warp lands by warping cards out of my drop. But there are so many cards in this deck that actually warp from your drop to gain effects, namely these apes and this Whis here. So yeah, that ended up not working out too well. So now I kind of resorted to charging a tapped energy turn 1, and then hopefully charging my check lands the rest of the game. And then finally, we have 1 copy of Bardock the Awakened Instincts, our only non-red yellow card in this deck. This was Fighting Against Fate, but Fighting Against Fate is now banned, so I replaced it with this card. Obviously not the same amount of game-ending pressure, but it can help declunk your hand and find cards like super combos, because, you know, we're playing a red-yellow deck, we're playing a lot of 10k combos, want to make sure we can do that. But anyways, guys, that's the list. Definitely not fully perfect, I would say. Again, it's definitely more of just a fun thing, a theory, something that I've you know, enjoyed playing in casual games here and there. But of course, I want to know in the comments below what you think about this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Yo, Dragon Ballers, quick break in the video to give a huge shout out to PPG, who is going above and beyond to make our organized play season the best that it can possibly be. I'm here on the PPG event management website. I'm going to link this down in the description, so all you have to do to sign up for any of these events is go down to that link. But anyways, real quick, we have MomoCon at the end of May, where there is a guaranteed case tournament for Dragon Ball Super. Next up is the Origins event, which is a huge one, guys. They have events going from Wednesday to Saturday. Practically every single day of the con, you can play a Dragon Ball Super event, among other card games. It's going to be an absolutely incredible time. Next up after that, we have an event in Denver, which is for the Pro Play Tour organized season. Not only are you playing for an invite to the Pro Play Invitational, but you're also playing for $2,000 guaranteed. And if you want to, guys, there is also a Team War event in that same weekend, and Team War is one of the best formats to play. If you haven't played a tournament with your friends, you absolutely have to do it. And then finally, an event that I know for sure that I'll be attending is the Too Many Games convention in Philadelphia. This is actually a regional for the regular Dragon Ball Super organized play season. So again, guys, super huge shout out to PPG. Secondly, this website is so awesomely laid out. All you have to do is go to this website. All these different tabs here will take you to the events you want to sign up for. I hope to see you guys there. Let's get back into the video.